Welcome to Gen Pop TV episode 2. This is Sawyer. Before we get started on the actual episode, I wanted to let you guys know that I accidentally did not record the first 27 minutes of the video. Still working out the kinks. So I'll give you the quick rundown of what you guys missed. The guest is my dad, Chris Scott. He's a lifelong athlete with a second-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiujitsu. He's a father, he's a regional sales manager, and he's working to become a certified structural engineer. He's the perfect example of the people I'll be interviewing on this podcast, your everyday professional who trains like an athlete. Okay, what we discussed that was missed was we went over his athletic background. He started in high school with soccer and lacrosse. He moved over to rugby past his teen years where he played with the Dallas Harlequins team for rugby. After he started to raise my brother and I, he took a bit of a back seat to let us develop ourselves athletically and for us to be the priority. We did a lot of stuff under the sun, football, skateboarding, what have you. We eventually took up MMA, and he took a big liking to that for himself. He started to train pretty intensely. 8 years later, he got his black belt. He now trains that a lot, along with a lot of volleyball, along with my stepmom. We talked a little bit about the importance of recovery and how his joints have been affected from his athletic pursuits. That pretty much brings us up to the point where I decided to finally hit record. So I hope that you enjoy the rest of the episode. Thanks.
So yeah, being that weight, it was, I didn't realize how much of a toll it was taking on my body.
Oh, it's incredible when you weigh that much. All the fluid that you have in your body,
That your lymphatic system is so
right?
that
And you
lay with your legs on the wall to help drain it out.
yeah, and your joints are swollen. So
Right.
if you're doing physical activity,
And look,
you're just set up for damage. Yeah.
we got a guest joining us apparently.
Yep, got the poltergeist.
Get down, dog. No, Nala decided to join. See, get down. Go down. Sorry.
That's okay. He might have something great to add to this thing.
More fit. Yeah.
Yeah, she's an Olympic sprinter and an artist.
So yeah, and luckily we do have. We're very lucky. We have leg pumps because Jen is a private coach and personal trainer. We have everything that we need between rollers and guns, like massage guns, and the lymphatic pumps and all the bands and weights and everything we could possibly need. It was very easy to work out. But you know, it's interesting. I see your videos and I see Richard lifting this heavy weight, and I'll be honest with you, I don't lift near that heavy.
Not yet.
Well, and hey, go on.
Well, there's a difference, I mean, I've played a lot of sports that require movement,
Right.
and even something as simple as tennis or pickleball.
Right.
Once you're moving and you're chasing the ball, it's not a controlled environment anymore.
Right.
And so that's where you really put the stress on your joints and stuff like that. In powerlifting, you put a lot of stress on them because of the virtue of the weight itself. But I'm in a very stable position when I start the lift.
Right. With platform shoes on, with, yes.
Yeah. And so, what could go wrong is basically because of the amount of weight you're trying to pull.
Right.
But most of the time, that never gets a chance to go wrong because you can't get it up far enough to where it really you're going to hurt yourself, with the exception of the back squat. Back squats, this is a new endeavor for me, so it's interesting of what 100 plus pounds feel like on your back as opposed to when I'm doing belt squats where I can put 300 pounds on. I don't feel anything.
Right. Right.
It's all, that's the only one that's like out there within powerlifting. Now in weightlifting, people are throwing stuff up in the air and and falling underneath it to take it up to catch it,
Snap.
and huge amount of weights. Sawyer asked me about going into that, and I said, at my age, I don't think I can afford to throw heavy weights over my head. So,
Well, it can go wrong fast. That's for sure.
yeah.
And that's so I've gotten to where even if I'm doing squats, I like to do some Zercher squats. I like to do front squats, and things like that. Doing a lot of body weight stuff, like you said, to be able to dynamically move still, whether it's on the volleyball court or in jiu-jitsu. Most of my heavy weight is either in kettlebell form or dumbbells.
Did we talk about Zerchers?
No. Well, I've done those for a while.
Who'd you get that from?
Believe it or not, I got it from a professional jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah.
That started doing that.
Yeah, Zerchers rock. What's his name?
It's the Tackett brothers out of Austin, Texas.
Getting all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Zercher squats for grapplers. Like I listen to a lot of people who talk about it, like Alex Sterner and all those guys. They're phenomenal. And I don't know if you remember, when I was getting out of the Army was when I could do like 20 pull-ups. The most pull-ups.
No, not just pull-ups, dead hang pull-ups.
Right. But even with me being able to do like my all-time best pull-ups, me going back onto the mat, my biceps were toast because I wasn't used to that isometric strength.
That's a difference.
Yeah, and I burnt out so quickly than what I used to be because I used to muscle things a lot, but I would burn out so quickly from that isometric demand. And Zerchers force you to maintain that and help you with that isometric stabilization strength. It's awesome.
That's you nailed it. That's exactly why I do those. That's also why I do a lot with dumbbells because I'm having to actually hold it.
Yeah.
Well, while I'm moving it around, you're exactly right. That isometric is everything when you're grappling, especially jiu-jitsu grappling.
And I love the erectors stimulus too, because you can get that from a front squat, but with the slight spinal flexion, you're really hammering everything up that back.
Right.
Which is so good for that, that spinal flexion that you get from grappling.
Yeah, that almost like turtle shell that you go into. Yes. No, that's for me. I've changed my lifting around so much. I'm blessed that Jen, my wife, has the rack, and the rack actually has a pulley system, so I can do a lot of the as you've seen, the tricep stuff on there, chest stuff. I can do lat stuff, and for me, the older I get, I love free weights. Don't get me wrong, but for me to go out and just do a workout, it is nice to kind of do some pulley stuff.
Well, the other thing is that your central nervous system is so taxed from jiu-jitsu that you do want to do like modifications other than like a barbell back squat that's so much more demanding on your CNS than like a goblet squat, or you don't really do leg press at this point.
No, I don't. Most of the stuff I do is like lunges,
sure,
things like that, just to strengthen stuff like that. But I started doing a lot more stretching.
Yeah,
stretching. I mean, like dynamic stretching and things like that, just to kind of keep everything mobile. That seems to be my goal now. Now, do I want the muscles and the beach body? Of course I do. And I want to be able to still maintain strength. But for me, I think a lot of the moving weight faster for me seems to work better for what I do between jiu-jitsu and volleyball, moving less weight, more reps, faster.
So power stuff, power training. There's guys that I think you'd really like to check out on social media, on Instagram. There's this guy, his name's Lucas Hardy. I think you'd love to see, because you follow Raspberry Ape, don't you?
Yes. Yep. He's English.
Something like that, yeah. Something weird.
But he's huge too.
He's jacked as hell. Yeah. But so Lucas Hardy does crazy because he was originally I'm sorry, I don't remember his origin. He's really big into old time strength training combined with mobility training. He does some really cool things, and he trains some grapplers as well. And there's this guy, Jeffrey Wolf, I think is his name.
Yeah. Yep.
You follow him?
I do. Yep.
He's a really good S&C guy.
See, and I'm very blessed too that I have her here, and her background was not only strength and conditioning but also track.
My mom.
The hip mobility for me, which I need in jiu-jitsu, she has me walk over hurdles.
Oh yeah.
She has me do things like that, so it makes my hips rotate.
Yep.
And I find that kind of stuff is just it's massive, and it's amazing how many people don't put the time and effort into it that you think of and that Richard is doing. They just go to the gym and they throw up some weight and get on their phone and throw up some more weight, and then they leave. You know, and then they're like, "Man, I feel like crap." Well, didn't do anything.
Yeah. Then see, I have a Sawyer 4 days a week.
I'm sorry.
Now it's 4 days a week. Well, I don't have him 4 days a week, but he appears on 2 days that I don't have him anyway. He always has this presence because he's writing my entire workout routine, whether he's there or not. And that all amounts to, he puts 90 minutes at the top of the thing. When I get through with the intense part of it, my CNS is so torn up after a warm up of a half hour and then an hour of heavy lifting that I got to go get food before I can finish the accessory part, which is the second half. Right. So I wind up in it for a solid 2.5 hours. I'll burn 1,300 calories doing that.
That's amazing.
Now I do during my warm-ups, I'm doing stretching all the time. And when I wake up here at the house, I've got foam rollers, everything you've got going, I've guns, foam rollers, and I do a lot of it there. But on Saturdays, like today, I have another trainer, Stephanie, who he knows very well. And she is probably one of the most agile human beings that I know. She can perform stuff weighted. No. Unbelievable. But she puts me through an hour of balance and stretching and by the time I'm done, I'm toast. And then she gives me an hour and a half sports massage that brings tears to my eyes.
Oh yeah.
But without that, I wouldn't be loose enough on Monday to come back in and do I skip her for a week, and my body's all tied up in knots.
Right.
Even with the stuff I'm doing on my own.
I think that's essential. I fully think people should get a massage a week, but I also think some people are very against it, but we have had wonderful success with a good chiropractor of ours. And it's not just a rack and crack person. She actually looks and sees, where are you off? What is off here? Is this firing? And it shouldn't be. She does cupping. She does all kinds of different things for us. But like you said, without maintaining the body, getting that lactic acid out, really preparing for the workout, you'll never recover. So I agree.
Well, you can't do that intensity week in and week out without something giving, unless you're spending a lot of time, not necessarily sleeping, but it's all part of the recovery phase.
Exactly. That's part of it. You nailed it. You're not sleeping. That's a huge thing. And people, it's funny to listen to people pride themselves on, I only sleep 5 hours a night. Well, why?
Yeah.
Your body needs 8 hours. It needs the recovery. There's nobody, if you're not sleeping 8 hours, you're shortchanging yourself. And
the two things I've learned training with your son is my body tells me two things very quickly. One, either I feed it or it's going to quit on me like right now.
Right.
And and feed it the right stuff.
Right.
And two, when it's time to go to sleep, if I don't make it to the bed, I'll find myself sound asleep in the chair at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah,
Right.
you know, boom.
You're right, and that's your body telling you I've got to shut down, and I'm like I said, I'm very lucky that I do have Jen, who's always been there, but a lot of times asking your spouse to be your trainer is easier said than done.
Yep.
Now she has all the answers, she has all the knowledge, she knows everything, but you give always an excuse of why I can't go to sleep, why I can't do this, why can't I walk 30 feet to the garage and go work out. You know, the older I get, the more I'm listening to her, the better I feel. And I bounce things off of Sawyer all the time too. He and I had a wonderful conversation when I was down in Houston, and we went to dinner, and we were talking about different things that I was trying to work on, and he was giving me ideas. And you know, it's wonderful to have different views and takes on different things. You know, especially you're looking at a different type of fitness and things like that too. You know, it's amazing how, like everything, it evolves.
He's threatened me already. So, you know, after this meet that this competition we have in October, um, he's threatened me with plyometrics again. And I'm going, I don't want to do that. And he's going, yeah, but you're gonna be doing that.
I'm gonna, unless you're jumping up on the step up. If I have to jump onto plyo boxes, I'm always scared to death I'm gonna bust my shins open.
So real quick, back to Stephanie, his other trainer. I've seen her do. You know what a pistol squat is? The little like.
Oh yeah.
She does box pistol squats. So she jumps up and lands into the position and squats back up. It is insane to see.
How much does she weigh? About.
She's not. She's not that big, but
Right.
She's 5'1" and she weighs probably, I would say, about 120.
Right.
Because she's got a lot of muscle mass to her. But those pistol squats he's talking about, I've seen her put a bar on her back with two 45-pound plates on it, so 135 pounds, and get on a Bosu ball and do one-legged pistol squats.
Wow.
Fantastic. I'm so jealous.
That's pretty impressive.
But that's fun. Oh, by the way, I don't know how well researched this is, but I have a client who does lymphatic drainage.
Huh?
Like hormone issues and all that, like fluid buildup. Have you done that before?
So no, I've looked into it a little bit, how to help drain lymphatic fluid in your face and in your neck and in your arms and things like that. Obviously, we have the leg pumps. I'd like for us to get some stuff for the arms and put. What's that?
What's a leg pump?
Don't you know those big blue boots that we put on and we would? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Have some.
Yeah. That moves the fluid up out of your legs.
Out of your legs, which is for me, especially when I was heavy. That's where I was holding a ton of fluid, is in my legs. Like you said, I'd put socks on, and you could see how it would compress my leg because there was so much fluid.
Yeah. I'll tell you though, the sports massage that she does with me is an hour and a half. So she'll climb up on top of the table and put her knee in my back and get leverage on me on certain areas. She also does fascial release.
Oh yeah, yep.
So like today, I came. We had our workout to begin with. I was fine. We got on the table. By the time I left the table, I was so congested in my head from everything that was being released out of my body. And she just looked at me and said, just start drinking water. And she does that all the time because, so much toxic stuff is released. You wouldn't even imagine that you could have that much in you, over a week period of time. But
especially the muscles that you're using the amount of lactic acid that's building up in your body. If you don't, like you said, if you don't flush it, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great combination I have between her and your son. I just don't know if I can afford to make it to the end with both of them.
I'm very lucky. Like I said, I don't have to pay her hourly, but yeah, I'm very lucky that my trainer lives in the same house.
Well, Sawyer and I have become good friends, so I take advantage of him whenever I can.
That's good. That's good.
But he doesn't let me get away with it too often.
That's great.
I'm generous though, but yeah. How's so Jake? Are you gonna see Jake on tomorrow? Has he been coming around?
So he comes out. He and your sister come on Sundays.
Okay.
They usually come by for dinner when they can.
Yeah. They did she start training or?
Sarah.
Yeah.
So she's started doing a lot of fitness stuff,
Yeah.
and doing things like that. She had obviously stopped for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's starting to get back into it. And
Yeah.
his birthday, I bought him a dumbbell set.
For-
For your brother's birthday, July, that was his present from me, was a
He showed that to me. Yeah.
dumbbell set. And I said, now you have no excuse. You can do, yeah.
I mean,
Well, you get him a set of adjustables?
No, I got him a full
A
dumbbell.
full set?
Well, I think it fives all the way up to 30s, 25s, something like that. So that's why I'm hoping that when Linda graduates from medical school, that she and Sawyer move back, I can take advantage of him.
that'd be so sick. How's your so how's the chest? So you tore your pec a year and a half ago?
Yeah, it was January of 24.
Yeah.
Doing jiu-jitsu, I completely tore my pectoris minor. And the reason I didn't get surgery until June is because that's when I really realized how big I had gotten.
Yeah.
And the doctor told me, I cannot put you under. He's like, there's a chance you might not come back.
Yeah.
So he put me on a regimen and said, I need you to get down to this weight before we do this surgery. And then we did it. And then unfortunately, the surgery failed and I still have a torn pec.
Oh, wow.
I just happen to have a Kevlar thread and a titanium screw in my body now. So I got but I'll be honest, I went back to the doctor and he said, I can redo the surgery at no charge. Do you want to do this again? And I said, let's talk about this. I'm 51 years old. What is this going to do if I don't fix this? And he said, it could cause you problems later, but he said, we can always do it again if you want to wait 6 months and see how you're feeling. And that was over a year ago. And so I'm still lifting weights. I'm still grappling. I just have you can physically see I have a torn pec.
I saw that. Yeah.
Didn't Carlos dramatically tear his pec? And he never had surgery on that. He just healed it. Huh?
And his bicep.
And his bicep.
Yeah.
I think over time the body compensates. Luckily I didn't. Generally when you have a pectoral tear, especially if it's not just the minor, if it's the major, it also affects the bicep because it all connects right up into here. And usually the bicep is affected as well. Luckily for me, it was not.
That's probably what he did because he tore the pec and the bicep. But that was amazing. I didn't realize that it was just the end of last year in November, October, November, when he tore it.
He literally recorded him tearing it too.
Oh. And he came back from that. He's now going to the world tournament, and he's like the number one contender.
Wow. How old is he?
40?
39.
39 going on 40. He's in the 40. He's in the Master 1 class now.
Wow. Wow,
But he's pulling 620 pounds off the ground at 165 pounds of body weight.
that's impressive. Wow, I don't know how he's doing that because I was very tentative for a long time and was only doing when it came to pectoral muscle stuff. I was doing flies with like 10-pound weights.
Oh no, this guy. Have you met Carlos? Did you introduce him to Carlos when he was in town, or weren't you at Sigma yet? So,
That time
huh?
we were too busy partying.
Oh, cool. Didn't invite me. But yeah, I mean, he his mental strength is really something to behold.
He is,
Really?
he's a
In
more than I've ever seen before.
They say he's 165 pounds.
165.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
that's the top weight in his class, 173. So, or 73 kilos. So he says he's about 61, 62 pounds, 161, 162. I'm sitting at 137, and top weight in my class is like 145.
Oh wow.
So we have to figure out a way to for me to gain weight. I'm not consuming enough food to cover the calories that I'm burning. So
That's it.
um, it's just like a maintenance thing, you know. I'll go up to like 139 and then take a piss in the morning and I'm back to 137, that kind of thing.
Right.
I'll,
Right.
I'll program like 6 exercises for him in a day, and then he'll just write it. He'll be like, "Oh, by the way, I also did like tricep extension and bicep curls, and then a different variation of bicep curls, and then I thought I'd also hop in on a workout with my friends."
And then he finally put the clamp on me and said, "You need to pick the days you want off. You get two of them. You're going to work out 4 days a week, and you have to promise me and swear on a stack of Bibles and your kids' lives that you're not going to work out on those 2 days." So,
Right.
I mean, he'll bro out with his friends and do like he I don't know how much this means to you, but he literally, what did you do? It was like I let you do a pull day with your friends, or like a back and buys day with your friends, and the first thing that you wrote down was 6 sets of 10 pull-ups. And I'm like, God damn, dude.
Right. You're killing me, Smalls. Yeah. But
so,
you know,
so I said, he said, "That's too much." And I said, "What do you want me to do?" He said, "Add weight. Do something to stop you from doing all of those pull-ups."
right. That gets back to so on the days that I do rest on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, uh, we have a pool, and I'll go out there and I'll swim a little bit just to move and to get my blood moving and to get my cardio up a little bit. But there's no real weight involved. It's just movement more than anything.
Oh, swimming is great exercise. I swam all the way through high school competitively.
Oh, okay.
And then everybody else grew to 6'3", and their hands and feet got big, and mine didn't. And I went, "There's no way I can beat them without flippers on." It's like,
Right, right. That does make a difference. Frame makes a difference.
Yeah. But yeah, BJJ is a lot more chaotic than that.
It is, especially so. My hard day on BJJ, my hard days are Thursday, Sunday. Those are the open mats, and so people come from other gyms, and so it's a harder roll. We're going. It's not just rolling with your friends, even though we're friendly. It's let's see who can win.
Yeah.
So
did you tell them the story about Robbie? What Robbie used to do for exercise back when he was in his prime?
Oh no, the whole like what would you call it? Like yeah. So we had I had a coworker at the Met who would pose as a beginner in classes, you this would not have flown in any sort of BJJ gym, just so you know. So any martial arts practitioner would say this guy's a dick.
They threw him out, but what he would do is he was looking for competition, and but it was unfair. He started martial arts when he was 5 or 6 years old, and he was on the Philippine national kickboxing team.
Okay.
And um, just unbelievable movement, even in his 50s now. To watch him work the bag is just amazing.
Right.
But I saw him one day. He had a buddy of his that grew up in the Philippines with him. They were both on the same, they both were on the national team, but different weight classes. And they were sparring. We have this room that's set off to the side at the Met, at last gym where Sawyer was. And they put on the headgear, and they put on, the vests.
Uh-huh.
And it got pretty heated in there. And Edwin usually held his own pretty good with pretty quick movement and so forth. But he stepped into when Robbie threw a roundhouse wheel kick at him and caught him in the chest and actually broke the vest. The vest snapped. Edwin got lifted off the ground, flew about 5 feet in the air. And when he got up, he said, "If I didn't have that vest on, I would have lost about 3 ribs."
Right. Oh, yeah.
It was unbelievable the amount of power, that can be generated there,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And as far as grappling around on a mat,
Yeah.
I think that wrestling is probably one of the most strenuous sports ever.
It's definitely a different energy system, because we have guys that come in and they run marathons and they're in their 20s and they're been playing football or basketball or whatever, and they come in and think this is going to be no problem, and they run out of oxygen so fast, and they're like Sawyer said, the isometric holds are so much that their arms turn to lead.
What are the rounds, like 1.5 minutes?
Oh no,
No,
it depends. Like the for white and blue belts, they're 5-minute rounds.
really?
Purple belts, they're 6 minutes.
This isn't like college wrestling. Or Olympic. This is grappling with
like submissions and stuff.
Yeah.
But by the time belt, sometimes they're 10, 12, 15-minute rounds.
Yeah, and it's all like explosive endurance too. So you're not just having to endure the isometric stuff. You're quickly changing positions. You're having to scramble, resettle, and all that stuff, and it's so taxing.
Yeah, but even the isometric side of wrestling, the Olympic college wrestling.
Oh yeah,
that's and those rounds only last like a minute or a minute and a half, but
right.
You're under total tension for the entire time.
That's a lot of jiu-jitsu, is learning to where I'm in a good place. I need to relax and I need to breathe, and even though you could be going the whole time, you got to learn when to active recovery. How about that?
Right. If he can't pin you and beat you, and you can just hold him without using a lot of energy, let him wear himself out. Yeah.
Well, and even in jiu-jitsu, because there's submissions, I'm trying not to get my arm broken, or I'm trying not to get my foot ripped off my body, or get put to sleep by a chokehold or a stranglehold. You're constantly under threat. I don't care about being pinned in jiu-jitsu. I don't care about that.
Uh-huh.
What I do care about is them breaking something on me or putting me to sleep. So it's a little different. The threats are different, but the movement is, it's very, you use a lot less tension sometimes in jiu-jitsu than you would in wrestling. It's funny when wrestlers come in, they only know one gear and it's forward 100%.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, you learn to move sideways and up and down and around. I don't need to go through the wall. I can go up and over it or around it or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, that's the biggest difference between wrestling and submission grappling, let's call it, is that the threat is real life problems.
Not just pinning the shoulders.
Not just pinning the shoulders. It's just a little bit different. Yeah.
Well, Sawyer gathered a lot of that and more. They asked him just 2 days ago to run a 15-minute workout for all the trainers.
Oh, wow.
And put him in charge of it. They were torn up. And he kept it simple. You know, he warmed them up, and then he gave them, go ahead.
It wasn't a hit. It was just a long hit. It's this CrossFit WOD called the Barbara. I don't know if you.
I do actually. I know of that one. Yeah.
Because where you're doing squats, pull-ups, and sit-ups, right? And you keep rotating.
Yeah. Typically it's a sprint. So it's the RX for the actual high level one. It's I think 10 pull-ups, 15 push-ups, or maybe it's 20 pull-ups, 15 push-ups. But I did a scaled one, which was 5, 10, 15, 20. But you're sprint through it and then rest 3 minutes and do that 5 times. I let them kind of just have a little bit more fun with it and take rest between rounds as needed. But that was a fun little one. Kind of the past.
I lived vicariously through some of the mom. She used to work out at Dallas Central, which was a competitive CrossFit. They went to the CrossFit Games.
Yeah. So
I would hear from her all the time. I did Barbara. Or obviously on Labor Day, you do the Murph. Like that.
And did I tell you that I actually ended up at that place because it was Dallas Central, and then I think it was it changed to something like Central Dallas because it was the one next to oh my god, it was Greenville and Bryan Street was the original one. Right?
So I think it was on Dyer Street.
Dyer.
Yes.
No, I'm did I say what did I say? Brian,
yeah. That's where Marcelo Garcia was. Yeah.
That's School of Rock.
Right, exactly. That's Dyer. Yeah.
And the second one that I ended up at, because Mom told me about that, was the new facility, which is a little bit further south. And I did my first bulk over there. And then now they've rebranded to, the hell is it called? It's Behavior and Performance Institute, but it's the same guy that.
It's no longer, they don't do CrossFit there anymore. It's literally, yeah. They just do hits and WODs and different things like that. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a WOD that I gave, but that was a fun one. What were we initially talking about? It was for the workout. It was, it's a very tough energy system. And that's the funny thing too, Richard. If you have a wish about something getting torn off, you should train jiu-jitsu and see how far that goes.
Let's not do that. Yeah.
Because they'll happily do that for you.
Well, as easily as I bruise with all the medication problems, if I did an hour of jiu-jitsu, I'd come out and they'd think I was a black man.
They think you were a leopard or something. Yeah. Yeah. That happens to me now still. Yeah. Depending on.
They'd cancel you for wearing blackface.
Right. Sure.
Yeah.
The closest I came to a Murph is I had brought the vest in to work out with the vest. I had 15 pounds in it.
Okay.
And I played a couple hours of pickleball in the morning. And I came off the pickleball court and I said, I don't have enough in me to run a mile and a mile, but let me do the middle of this thing.
Right.
So I broke it up into 10, 20, 30. So 10 pull-ups, 20 push-ups, 30 squats with the 15-pound vest until I hit the 100, 200, 300. And I got that done in 23 minutes, which I thought was pretty damn good.
That's damn good.
But have you done any of those WODs before, Bob?
I haven't. In fact, it's funny. Mom and I were talking about that. Now that it's getting colder and volleyball's about to end, in October, because we play sand volleyball, beach volleyball, and they close it down in October. So I'm like, I need something that will take the place of the volleyball for me. So I'm going to start doing those types of workouts. And luckily, she can write them for me because she has all of those. So I'm going to start actually doing some of those wads and hits. And I tell you what we're really looking for is we're looking to get a rower in the house. We have all this other fun stuff, but man, you talk about kick your butt.
The rower is the worst.
But oh yeah, that'll burn some calories.
Are you gonna get like a Concept 2 or something? Do you know?
Whatever the water, the globe with like the water in it.
Oh,
That's actually the worst one. That'll kill you.
Yeah. We're looking for something like that. We would love to add that to our repertoire.
do you just since this is like off-season training, are you going to be doing any like light tier plyos, like any sort of like hopping or like any pogos or anything like that, just to maintain that elasticity in the lower leg and the ankle?
So I'd like to, and then luckily for me, we have like a stepper, like a step it starts about this high, and then you can make it higher and higher.
Yeah.
And then we have the actual plyo boxes.
Yeah.
I have this weird phobia of jumping on the plyo boxes.
Yeah.
That I'm literally bust my.
Are yours wood or are they hard foam?
They're metal.
Oh no! You want to get the hard foam. That'll take the phobia out of it.
There you go.
They the framed ones with like the lip. There's like nothing underneath the step. I hate those. I literally am so afraid of busting my ass. But
yeah, if you miss on those, you demolish yourself.
Yeah, but I think now that I'm lighter, I think doing more plyo stuff would be good, especially with the volleyball. And we're lucky, Mom has a Vertimax, and
yeah,
you can literally get strapped into that thing, and you can do a lot of stuff with that Vertimax and with the bungees and jumping like that.
So one thing I will say though about box jump specifically is that a big part of plyometrics that gets overlooked when it comes to jumping onto an implement or an object is the landing. Which is so big on volleyball. I mean, not as many people get hurt jumping as they do from landing, and that's anything, basketball or I don't know, high jump. But
right.
So something that would also not just be the concentric, but the landing too would be the best bang for your buck. My favorite one to do is like light tier, like literally people call them pogos or leaps, where you literally just like hop like a rabbit, and that's like your best introduction to plyos in the off season.
Get that flexion and the foot moving like this. Yeah,
those are good. Calf raises fix you right up.
Well, and that's that's a great thought. I've been so large the last few years. I haven't really done much stuff like that, but I think because volleyball starts back up in March, so I basically got November, December, January, February to put some real training in.
Do some off-season training.
Right.
Yeah.
And it helps.
Beast mode time.
Right.
But like Sawyer, like you said about Sawyer and his brother, that when they got on the mats, they would just wear these people out till they puked, and then.
And what his brother? It was Sawyer.
Sawyer, yeah, Sawyer and I thought he said and his brother, but
oh no,
I believe it about Sawyer because I've dealt with him enough to know what I'm up against with him. But I don't challenge your son, not because of his age. It's just because there's nothing that I can do to beat him at anything.
I'm sort of glad that he stopped training jiu-jitsu, because that'd be one less thing I'd have to give up that he's better than me at. And his brother and I don't even roll anymore. He still comes to the same gym I do, but we've made a pact that we don't do that.
Yeah, it's like working with your spouse. If you too much with family members, things start to get strained.
Well, it starts. Yeah, as I say, it puts a because if I'm going how I should go and he goes how he should go,
Yeah.
it's not going to be good.
It gets ugly.
Yeah, it's probably best we keep that civil.
Yeah, and Jacob, I mean, Jacob's also like Richard. Jacob is also very much scrappy. He's like an iron tumbleweed. He'll roll around you, and he doesn't care if he breaks or you break. There's
Some break. Yeah,
It's whoever breaks first, right? Yeah.
really good analogy there, Sawyer, because then he's still like that, even though his skill has gone up exponentially. Some of the other professors in the gym even say his talent is incredible, but what's exciting about him is that he's so dynamic, but either someone's going to get tapped, whether it's him or the other guy, because he throws caution to the wind and at his detriment sometimes.
Where I'm going with, where I started to go with this is, if you get back into doing some plyos and stuff like that, and build that endurance into those different muscle groups, with the fast tick fiber, it's amazing what it'll do for your sports side. I remember when I was playing tennis, I was running. Besides playing tennis, I was going out and running sprints and doing plyometrics. And I'd get on the tennis court, and there were guys way better than me. But we were playing in July in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I just hit the ball from side to side until they couldn't run anymore,
That sounds.
And I could run forever.
Yeah. That's hilarious. No, that's great. And that's great advice, too. That's stuff that I haven't done in years past, which I'd like to do this year and see what 52 looks like. Am I faster, more mobile,
yeah,
agility now than I did when I was in my late 40s?
Yeah, I found honestly, going forward with my life, going through some of the stuff that I went through that sort of knocked me way back, the whole cancer thing and stuff that I've been through. I got to the point where I didn't look back at what I was. I got to the point where I only look forward to what I can be.
Right.
And it's amazing how I think the mind is the strongest muscle in the body. If you do, it can direct your body to do things that you think you can't do. If you drop the word can't.
Right.
And, today at 80, I want to be better than this at 81 or 82. And people have said to me, well, you're in your 80s. How many years do you think you have left? I said, I don't know. But why would I quit before I get to that?
Right.
Whatever that is.
Right. No, I agree with you. It's if you don't use it, you lose it. And that's why it's interesting to watch people that when they retire, they just become extremely sedentary and they get bigger and they start turning into wood. They start solidifying and I'm just like you, and you're such an inspiration that it's awesome to watch. And I feel like such a whiny little bitch that
no.
I literally feel like it's hard for me to move sometimes, and my joints hurt and things like that. And then I look at you and I look at Sawyer's Instagram, Facebook, and I see what you're doing, and I'm like, wow, what the hell am I crying about? So it is a testament and it's an inspiration that if you don't keep moving, it's very hard to get back into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem with people as they get older, especially when they hit the magic number, they hit 60 or so, they they start to slow down what they're doing. They get more sedentary. Then they look around. They go, "Gee, life has passed me by." Well, life hasn't passed you by. Out the door is life. What happened is you're not opening the door. You're sitting there watching Netflix. You got to get your butt out there. And relevancy is really important. How the hell can you be relevant to people in their 20s and 30s if if you're not doing something that wakes them up and catches their attention. Like
Right.
before I met Sawyer, all the guys I work out with are in their 30s and 40s.
Right.
They're my son's age. So you become relevant. Then you're part of the conversation. Then they look at you, you pull a big bunch of weight and they go, whoa,
Doing. Yes, that's great.
and it's no matter what it is, whether it's volleyball or jujitsu or lifting weights or whatever you're doing, if you're doing it, you find yourself in the middle of life again. It's
Right. I'm right there with you. Most of the people we played volleyball with are stunned to find out that Jen and I are in our 50s. Most of them, like you said, are even in their 20s. Some of them are 21 up, like the older ones, they are like in their mid 30s. And so when they find out we're in our 50s, they're like, what are you talking about?
I mean, you guys are so active. It's
yeah, I mean, that's a great thing. It's a great thing that you have a companion that you're both active together like that.
and
The great thing though is I know she's better than me, especially at volleyball. So I let her, not that I let her, but I'm okay with her going and being competitive. Like she played in a competitive tournament last night. She's crazy. She played in a competitive tournament last night until 12:30 in the morning, and then got up first thing this morning, and we went and played another tournament. Like she's wild. Like what 50-year-old woman's doing that? Like
Yeah, but I met her at the wedding, and that woman is in great physical. That's the first thing I said to Sawyer. I said, "What sport does she play?" I mean, that woman's in great shape. Your mom.
funny
Yeah.
is in college, and she actually held the high jump record at UTA up until about 3 years ago.
Wow.
And she's 5'7.5", and I think her high jump was like 5'11 3/4 or something like that, which is astounding. I'm like, you can high jump over me. That's freaking crazy, But it really, I think what we're getting at and what you're talking about is absolutely true, and that's why I say it's such an inspiration that maybe I do have 35, 40 more years of playing and doing things.
Hell yeah. Or don't even limit it to that. It's like every day you get up's a different day. And let me tell you, Sawyer and Carlos talked me into competing in that first meet there. I had never competed in this stuff before.
Huh?
And I only did 2 lifts. I did a bench press and I did a deadlift. And the deadlift, of course, was the best lift. But I broke 5 state records. But here's the amazing part that it'll show you what's going on with the world today. In my weight class, I broke the deadlift record for the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. For the state of Texas. Does that tell you something about the condition of the people in America? How can I beat a 60-year-old that's in great shape? Obviously, there aren't any.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
but it sounds like you have that X factor too. You have that drive. You have that grit.
it really does.
And then you have Sawyer pushing you and teaching you and coaching you. I'm not surprised. I understand exactly what you're saying, but it's funny you say that because even in jiu-jitsu, so now I'm Masters 5, which is the over 50, and even at the Worlds, like I could fly to Vegas, and I bet you there's not 4 or 5 people in my entire bracket that go to the Worlds because. And this is people that fly in from literally all over the world. This isn't just like a Worlds they say is the Worlds. This is people fly in from all over the place.
Yeah.
These people don't do it anymore.
That's what Carlos is doing. He won the nationals in Vegas, and then he got invited to be on the USA team and go to Cape Town, South Africa, and represent the United States in the Worlds.
That's so cool. That's really neat.
Yeah.
He's going to be that in October. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seeing myself pop up as much But anyways, I will also say, back to the plyos thing, that is one new big trend. I've got a little bit of a tangent here, but the new big trend nowadays, obviously on top of muscle mass being the fountain of youth, is also going to be ballistic training or plyometrics. So not just like jumping and hopping and skipping and all that stuff, but sprinting. And obviously, like that's way down the line if you ever choose to do so. But that's going to be like the number one athletic quality, regardless if you're required to sprint in your sport. It's a really cool one.
I'm dreading my future already.
Right, right. I think I got my crystal ball for you.
Yeah. Dog, you're
But it's fun to say that because I don't sprint unless I'm on the volleyball court.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind running in the sand, even though it's more difficult.
Yeah.
I don't mind if I dive or if I fall. It absolutely does not hurt.
Yeah.
So I run. The only time I really run anymore is in the volleyball sand, but I probably should do that more often. The impact.
It's going to be really like necessary for you to do that in off season, because I've seen lots of people, like if you've ever heard a hamstring tear during sprints, it sounds like a gunshot.
Oh yeah, it's literally their leg literally goes like this. It's like a wagon wheel.
Yeah.
I've done it twice.
Oh, that's so. What we're looking at is Mom and I are looking at getting a zero gravity treadmill.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
So it's low impact on the body, but you still get the movement of the sprinting, and things like that without the joint problems and things like that. So, I think that's a great rehab for a lot of people too. But so we're talking about that. Obviously, her specialty in track was sprinting.
Yeah,
I've actually been trying to look at doing more of that type of stuff too.
Yeah, to be a high jumper, you have to sprint.
I will also say, I want to get names because I already talked about the flexibility strength guys. There's just one guy that's making waves. He's also he was a high jumping coach, and I think he was in the Olympics for himself. But Matt Watson, or Matt McInnes Watson, is like the new number one name for any sort of athletic training.
Okay.
You should check him out. He's got a lot of good stuff. Also, I recently started a mentorship with this guy named Angus Bradley, who does a lot of like GPP stuff, the general physical preparedness. He really cool names. Are you looking it up now, or?
Yeah, I just wanted to see what it was. Yeah, I'm just putting it in my phone. I'm not really looking it up.
Okay. Yeah, but it's they've got a lot of cool stuff, like that where they talk about, like, because they train a lot of people, especially like Angus and all those GPP guys that I'm like trying to be a part of in that scene now. They have some really cool and very like pertinent like plyos and explosiveness training for different sports. Even grappling, and obviously volleyball is very necessary for getting good at plyos, so you don't hurt yourself or that you can perform better.
Well, that's
go ahead.
You get no rebound. Jumping out of the sand is ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. You settle right back. Yeah. As an aside, and then we can let me ask you one question. Sawyer, are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever hear back from Drew as to whether these judges are going to be nationally certified or not?
We'll talk offline, but I don't think I got a response.
Okay.
Sorry. I followed up about it, I promise, but there's been no really clear resolution.
Okay. It'd be nice to know.
Yeah. I'll definitely follow up on Monday as well. I'll give him the weekend to see if he replies by Monday, but I'm not sure what became of that. But yeah, I'm getting the dinner cue from the wife.
Okay.
But thank you for hopping on. It was really
honestly, it was my pleasure, and it was an honor to talk to you two guys about this kind of stuff. And honestly, it warms my heart to see that the man that you've turned into, and the fact that you've become, an expert in this field. You're doing a lot of really good things, and it's just amazing to watch as a father. And it's absolutely amazing to watch what you're doing with Richard, and what that Richard is literally like a little banny rooster and won't stop and is just going 100 miles an hour all the time. That's a huge inspiration. So, guys, it was absolutely my pleasure. I really appreciate you guys asking me to be on here.
Well, I appreciate you being and getting to know you better. I have a little more insight into my trainer. And, that's all good. By the way, they're having a competition that a lot of people from Sigma are going to in, I think, the 14th of December in Fort Worth.
Oh, Fort Worth, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see how I turn out here at in Stafford, and maybe I'll drag your son up to Fort Worth so he can visit his family.
Well, ask him what 3 days later is after that competition.
What's that?
Oh, for December 14th, you said?
Yeah.
My birthday. So
Oh.
I've got that.
Well, if I can win something there, we'll stay and party.
Buddy,
Right.
it's going to be the best present, and you better not drop the ball on this, because
I just, throw Sawyer off a bridge. It's fine.
But back to the whole thing, I do want to wrap this up about like the main overarching thing, which is you are not only an athlete, but also a father, a husband, working man. You are by trade a structural engineer and a regional sales manager.
So I'm not a certified structural engineer. I work with engineers a lot. I'm a certified structural technician. The difference is I don't have the license from the state of Texas.
Yeah.
But we basically do engineering, structural engineering.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've moved into a management role, and so I work 12 to 14 hours a day doing that. I'll literally go to work, and then I'll come home and I'll sleep for an hour, and then I'll go train or go play volleyball, and then come afterwards and do work for another 3 or 4 hours. So
now you're training. What are you? Are you working in the oil industry and pipelines, or are you building buildings?
no, we actually fix buildings. So buildings, because of this terrible clay soil,
Yes.
moving. We actually, and because you're in Houston, you've probably heard of our company. I work for Olshan Foundation, which is, you've probably seen on the TV. It's Nolan Ryan.
I get it all the time on my phone now.
Right.
There's that. But yeah, it's a balancing act to fit all of that in, especially having to deal with 3 kids.
Luckily, they're pretty easy now. They don't take a lot of my time anymore.
I mean, I'm great.
Right.
Of course.
Return on investment in the future, hopefully.
My 2 boys are amazing. My daughter, she's a little taxing sometimes.
But yeah, it's tough because I wanted to talk a little bit about how a lot of these people who do work 12 to 14-hour days wouldn't ever be able to conceptualize devoting any time toward activity. They want to sit, they want to eat, they want to do nothing.
Right.
Done with the work, with how much they've put in. What is your solution to that? What is the reason that you're able to do that?
For me, I think it's because that's my happy place. That's my happy time.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you guys both know, when you're physical, when you get your blood moving and your heart pumping, it sets off endorphins. And it doesn't matter the day that I've had up until that point. When I'm finished working out with whatever that is, grappling, lifting, volleyball, whatever, when I'm finished, I'm glad I did it because I feel better. My head is clearer. My body feels better. And without keeping that balance, I think it takes years off of your life because the stress builds up. As we saw with me, the weight builds up, the blood pressure builds up. If you don't have time to give in a day or a few days a week into working out, you're going to shorten your life. It's that simple. And as Richard is literally a testament to, at 80 years old, if you don't move and you're not getting around, this guy's at his age that can't even get around a golf course in a golf cart.
Well, I will also say to Richard, Linda's seen his medical history, and she was like, I've seen people with a quarter of this who will never leave their bed again.
Right.
And there's that. But
he's a different bug. Yeah.
Do that. What would you say to people that don't consider the gym or a jiu-jitsu gym their happy place and are your age, working your hours?
Find something that works. I don't care if it's cycling, swimming, running. Do something. Something. I personally think going to the gym and running on the treadmill for 15 or 20 minutes, which they end up walking, is what happens. And then they go get on a Smith machine and move a tiny bit of weight around and then call it good. You're not helping yourself. If you're not pushing your body and pushing your limits a little bit, you're not doing anything. However, it's still better than sitting on your ass eating pizza, watching, Netflix.
Right.
So, yeah, make the time, because if you don't make the time's going to be made for you, and you might end up in a hospital bed or in a grave because you can't give an hour a day. An hour is a lot of time to get a lot done. As Richard just said, or even you just said, 15 minutes, you can get your ass kicked in a workout. Think about that. What is 15 minutes?
Right.
Honesty. Even if it's a 5 to 10 minute warm up, you work out for 15 minutes, you have a 5 to 10 minute cool down and a stretch, you're still done in 30, 45 minutes.
You're saying 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on health insurance.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Right. That's a funny way to put it.
We're going to brand that.
And I think dress up in like a giant, like T-Rex outfit, though.
Very
more than that. It's also better than insurance, because every time something's happened to me, from cancer to heart to whatever, I've been in absolute fabulous shape when whatever it was struck, and I was able to work my way through it because of that.
Well, and I gotta be honest with you, Richard, and forgive my language, but I have a feeling you have a fuck that attitude, that no matter what they tell you, you just say, fuck that, I'm doing it anyways. And
everything
you fight.
Yeah, your son can attest to that. Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Who the hell are people to tell you what you can and can't do? And they're the people, especially when you hear it from a doctor who's a big fat pig that's well overweight and sweating, telling you that. That's always an interesting thing. So I think that's
yes, you hit a nail on the head, preaching to the choir. There's been more than a dozen doctors that have told me I have to take this whole handful of medications that I've looked at, and I say, hey doc, why don't you go heal yourself first?
Right.
Because you're like 40 pounds overweight and look at me. And you're telling me to take all this crap? I'm not doing it.
Right. Well, and that's a whole other topic, but obviously the medical industry is to keep us, I hate to say this, but to keep us sick. And we've got to heal ourselves. And that starts with nutrition, with movement, with exercise. Look at animals. Animals don't take a bunch of medications. They turn them out into a pasture, and they get fresh air, and they get exercise, and they get sunshine. And all of a sudden, these animals get healed. And, it's the science is there. We just got to quit looking at the propaganda. And it all starts with getting up off your ass and moving.
And people like us are living proof that works.
100%. It just starts with taking that first step. Even if that first day is the worst day of your life, that you feel like you couldn't do anything and you felt like your heart was going to explode, you did something.
Well, when Sawyer met me, I was only 6 months out of heart surgery.
Oh, wow.
And I weighed, well, I had gained a couple of pounds back, but I had gone down to 125 pounds. When I met him and I told him, I'm pretty strong. Teach me how to deadlift. I want to be able to break a world record. And he looked at me and he goes, okay.
You know, I think that's amazing, though, because you have a clear goal and you're like, how do I get there? And that's, I love the fact, I love your drive. And I think that's the kind of client people want. The best people in the world are pains in the asses. The best sales guys, the best exercise guys, the best. Look at Michael Jordan. What an asshole.
He is an asshole.
Best basketball player ever.
Yep.
I mean, that's the true mark of certain people are the people that have that drive are not your best, what you would call the best people. But I say that, but the people I hang out with, the jiu-jitsu guys and people like that, they're the best people I've ever met. The nicest people. Generally covered in tattoos from different walks of life that I would never talk to in the street. But they have that drive. As you know, Sawyer, if you do this in a long period of time, you're crazy. Nobody does this shit for an extended period of time. And I've had now 7 surgeries. The last one was my pec. But remember, I had this finger that was literally almost, they had to reattach it.
Yep. Well, there's also the meniscus or the patellar tendon.
It was my ACL.
It was okay, my bad. Yeah.
But I have torn the meniscus in both legs. I've had broken ankles.
Yeah.
It's funny. Mom says when I call her from the gym, if I say, "Hey, honey," she knows I'm fine. If I say, "Hey, Jennifer," she's like, "Which hospital are we going to?" Yeah. Sadly, it's code for I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
But yeah, to wrap up what you were saying, I think the first step is get off your ass. And that's why, it's funny enough we say that. That's why I bought your brother those weights, because he kept telling me, I don't have time. I don't have time. And I said, you're crazy. Of course you have time. You're sitting in front of the TV. Why don't you do a workout while you're watching TV? So that's why I pushed him a little bit by getting him some dumbbells.
Best gift a father could give his son.
Right? He wanted a driver.
Yep.
Yeah. So
he is the driver now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But okay, let's wrap it up. All right. Thank you guys. It was great talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. It literally is my pleasure and my honor. I really do appreciate you guys having me on.
We'll do it again. It's great to get to know your family, Sawyer.
Absolutely.
It's
Come
good
by.
stuff.
Fantastic. You guys will let me know where you're putting this on.
We'll do. All right.
Take care.
Here. Bye-bye.
Bye.